I just realized there's a complete nerd internet joke in this movie now that I'm reading like the cast list here.
Yeah, what's that?
Remember the robot's name is L337?
Yeah.
That's Leet. Leet speak. It's Leet.
I
Like
don't
internet. It's like internet words. Or it's like they spell words like hate is H8.
Oh.
It's Leet speak.
So welcome to the podcast where we talk nerdy shit and talk about
Didn't realize that.
Solo and how a robot is all computer shit.
Listen, guys, I'm not even realizing it till now. It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeesh.
Solo, talk about the dark horse Rocky movie of the summer. Oh my god, this is I think my favorite Star Wars modern.
It's
Star
so
Wars
good.
movie.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Like,
it was
all I wanted was just a heist movie in space, and that's what they delivered. That's all I wanted was
But
just
with
like a heist
good
movie.
writing.
Yeah.
Amazing characters.
Terrific writing. I believed every single character.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was the best writing that we've seen in the Star Wars universe, in my opinion. But that's because it's very cheesy. Like the writing.
yeah, the
in
writing's-
Star Wars
yeah.
is cheesy. It's not amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry. for all
Sometimes,
the
like,
fans
the-
out there.
Like all the memorable lines is just like
They were ad libbed.
"I'm your father" or like "I know," which was like I think improvised.
It was. Yeah.
He forgot his line. He forgot to say "I love you too," or so he was like "I know."
Who forgets to say that?
Well,
He
Harrison,
should've-
the guy who crashes a plane twice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Listen, Harrison Ford is a national treasure. We don't need to talk about like okay.
No,
leave him alone.
it's because he's a national treasure that we like when he gets crashes a plane, we go, "That's Harrison Ford."
It's Harrison.
It's Harrison
He
Ford.
survived 2 plane crashes. So I
Like
feel
he
like
broke
if you
in
survive the
legs. He
plane
can punch.
crashes,
He
you can
punches
do it.
Ryan Gosling, and we're all
Yeah.
just like, "It's fine. It's
That
fine."
was hilarious.
It's fine.
I
Yo,
love
grandpa.
that story. He
But
got his humor from Sears, just like Carrie Fisher.
my god. But yeah, talk about a movie that no one expected to do well at all, and
I
is like
know.
I think the best made modern Star Wars movie since like I'd say since Empire is my favorite like Star Wars movies like out of all of them.
I know, and how like ironic is like not that many people are like seeing it.
I know, that's what sucks. It's what the problem with Rogue One. It's like Rogue One and Last Jedi combined, I feel like has like made this like fatigue around Star Wars, where it's like everyone's like, oh, it's all right. They're like, fine. I'm not gonna see Solo Star Wars movies because it's probably gonna be bad, just like the last 2.
Mhm.
And like it sucks because it's like nothing like the last 2.
No.
Like I think it works so much better because it doesn't involve Jedis and stuff like that. And that it feels like, oh, this is what's happening, like on like the ground
know.
level.
Like that
Of this
first
world.
world was like
Ugh.
so dirty and just like it seemed like something from like a what's that like science fiction author something Dick
Wolf.
no yeah, Dick Wolf.
Dick Wolf.
Yeah, you know the science fiction writer Dick Wolf. Dun dun. But
I don't know.
I forgot his name. He wrote like Sentinel. He wrote The Expanse. I digress. But
Let's
all
just
this,
say his name's Dick Butt.
but like very like dark sci-fi. Like it reminded me like the dark streets of like Blade Runner or just like not like this shiny stuff we're used to in the Star Wars universe, where like bright lighting and like the creatures there were just like even creepier, like that weird worm lady that just wants jewels and like somehow is a vampire.
foul
Like what
woman.
the fuck? That was awesome.
Did you see in the intro? Also, I want to talk about the intro because it doesn't have like the big like thing, and it's actually kind of scared the shit out of me when we watched it because I was expecting like the da-da thing at, like the whole time, but it just never came. And it was just like, oh,
It's coming. It's a coming. It's a coming.
There's a part in the intro where they were like, and then Han Solo's hanging out with this foul lady.
Of the mean streets of whatever planet. It was so funny. I was like, LOL, mean streets.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck is this? A foul lady. I love the Star Wars universe. There's a description of someone named Foul. Like she's a foul lady.
She's a foul lady.
But yeah, that was so cool. Like I feel like this is what I wanted from Rogue One the entire time, where it's just like, I want non-Jedi stuff. I want the ground patrol stuff. I want to see what people are getting into, like, underneath everything else.
I want fun, haphazard, ragtag, Rugrats, that are just like...
Rugrats? Babies? I want ragtag.
I want babies. I want
Slumdog,
dolls missing hairs.
Street rats just, like, getting together.
Just hood rat
I
doing
stand
hood
by
rat
what I
things.
said.
Rugrats.
Yeah, like, because the more that I think about Rogue One, and I know, Calvin, you like it, and I know a lot of people that like it, there just wasn't a lot of emotion that I got for the characters.
It's just more like visual, like, fluff, basically. Like, it's just there to, like, look good.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like,
the things I like about it, things I liked about it was, like, it looks so good.
Oh, yeah, and I'll agree. Rogue One is a beautiful film.
I mean, anything with Disney behind it's going to look pretty nice.
But, like, like, all, like, the complaints about Rogue One is, like, the characters, like, don't kind of go anywhere. Like, the only, like, good character with the best, like, emotion was a robot.
Yeah, I know, which... DJ and I felt a lot of frustration about.
I'm a rebel. I rebel.
That line wasn't in the movie. It wasn't in the movie. It was in the trailer. They saw how bad that line was, and they cut that shit.
Everything about Rogue. We won't get into it.
No.
But it was just like, even if you like Rogue One, like, just objectively, like, this movie does everything that Rogue One does, like, better.
Yeah, I saw a review that its headline literally said, Solo is what Rogue One wished it was or should have been or something like that. And I was like, yes, I'm so glad that I don't know who was reviewing it, but I was really glad to see. I was like, yes, that is how I feel as well.
Yeah. Accurate.
And we were talking about how a lot of people didn't want to go see this and how it was getting a lot of bad rep. I will be the first of the three of us to say I did not think this movie was going to be good.
Yeah.
I was very frustrated from the trailers. I felt livid when they came on.
Literally, like, all three of us were in, like, different spectrums. Like, Mary would be like, not interested. DJ would be like, I'm kind of interested. And me, I'm just like, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And we all have, like, now, like, similar reactions. Would be like, we love it.
And I'll also be the first to say, like, it was so much fun. I loved it. And I'm kind of thinking, like, DJ and I already talked about this a little bit, but I think with Hollywood, we're really trained, especially these days of CGI and makeup, that when someone plays someone, they need to look exactly like them and sound exactly like them. And I was really thrown off because I didn't think that Eldon Ehrenreich, I don't know how to say his name. Han Solo, I didn't think that this young Han Solo really reminded me of Harrison Ford's Han Solo, and that bothered me a lot because he's such a character that's near and dear to me. But I think it's cool because you get to see him actually
when he was happy.
He doesn't.
When Han Solo was happy. Yeah,
it feels like how he would have been at that point in time.
There's parts where he smiles, and I see the squinty, cute smile, and then the back and forth. Like, he really was trying, and he really captured the spirit of Han Solo, in my opinion.
It's so funny too because there's, like, a lot of, like, spots, like, in the trailer, like, especially where it's like you see it in the trailer and you're like, oh god, that's gonna be, like, pretty cringeworthy, but then you see those same moments, like, in the movie with context of the character, and it's like, oh yeah, no, that's good, that's fine. Works. I'm glad, like, that feels like way better with seeing it with the context of his acting around it.
I did rewatch the trailers, and I still felt like if I hadn't seen the movie, I still didn't like the trailers. Yeah. And I still stand by the fact that I think the trailers didn't represent how good the movie was going to be.
They did have, like,
I think
there was, like, 3 different, like, types of films that were, like, jumbled up. I know, like, I think 80% of it was Ron Howard's, like, retakes.
Yeah.
So I think, like, for the trailers, before, like, the finished product had a lot of stuff to be like, well, we gotta make a trailer out of this, and I feel like that kind of, like, hurt the film, like, more in the market wise. But people were kind of, like, saying, like, Solo, like, and how it failed at the box office. Like, well, it's only been, like, barely a week.
Yeah, hopefully the word of mouth, because I looked up the numbers for it, and oh my god, strap in for some interesting discussion. It opened, like, out of all the Star Wars movie, it opened under the re-release of Empire Strikes Back. which is like if an average Star Wars movie opens at like 300 something, this opened at 100. Yeah, 100 domestically, and then 168 million worldwide. So it's like doing about half as well as like a regular Star Wars movie would. But with the word of mouth, hopefully that'll spread through into next weekend.
Yeah,
it
that's
might
what I'm
like not get to
because there's not that
300
many
million, but maybe
movies
it
coming
get
out
to
next
200 or
weekend, so I
250.
feel like hopefully more people, because I want to say hopefully because like it's good, and I feel like
It's so good.
It has some of the best, like, I feel, writing. Like, it does. It's hard to say because like I love the Jedi stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that you're kind of restricted with storytelling wise with the Jedi because it's so like clear, like black and white, Sith and Jedi, good and evil. Like there's no area of gray, which I feel this movie got to kind of play with a little more so.
Yeah.
Because it was with slum people that are like scumbag, like people, and it was like that's what I want to see. Like it has. I feel like the strongest character motivations. Like it can't just be motivated by, oh, well, I have to do what's good because I'm a Jedi, or I'm gonna do what's bad because I'm a Sith.
Yeah, and it also wasn't super explainy. Some of my favorite dialogue in it was kind of when they were, I don't know, and it just felt like they were really human.
Yeah. Like there's scenes in this where like they tell whole stories with just like their faces in like the span of like 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, like friggin' like Beckett and Val, like all she has to be was, like there's like one little conversation they have and you're like, oh, they're in love, how cool. Don't need a backstory on them, and I care about them. And
hey Val, do you remember when we met in 1902 on the bridge where we fell in love?
And they're in a carnival for some reason.
Yeah, it's like what is like human? It's like actually 2016.
This
like, what?
might be because I am a huge Westworld fan, but I was more upset when Val died than when what's her name in Rogue One?
Who cares? Jay Uso, fucking.
Yeah, whenever Jay
what's her
Uso
fucking face?
dies, I was so much more upset when Val died because I was like, I mean, okay, granted, I just love Thandie Newton, and that's probably what that's from. But her character was already better established in the 10 minutes she was in the film.
I'm not gonna be sad over a paper bag dying.
Yeah.
It's like I just don't care.
Right.
Like, wait, you're in love now? Oh, okay, all right.
There's I do have to go on like kind of like one little rant.
Go for it.
Well, because
rant
like
spot.
I saw like one reviewer that I like, and like what he said, I was just like, I felt like he was putting his pre-motions feelings about the movie onto the film, because he said like, well, if you're gonna make a film, it needs a purpose for it to be here, and he didn't feel like it was a good like any purpose for Han Solo to be a movie unless to make money. I was like, all the Star Wars films are here just to make money. Like they're not here to be Citizen Kane. They're here to be blockbusters.
Completely untrue.
Yeah.
Like the watching Solo makes me appreciate and have more of an understanding for the characters in the original trilogy. Like I understand Han Solo way more now.
Yes.
And it was it with like Lando and Han's relationship. Like it makes way more sense. Whereas like in the originals, you're like, okay, like I guess they're best friends, but like why did he betray him?
Yeah.
But like you see this, and it's like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Like they're friendly, but like Lando still feels super sore about him like stealing his ship that has his best friend's like dead soul in it.
Yeah.
Like just he had like no reason to want the ship. If you think about it, it's just like he just stole it to be a dick.
Yeah. He just liked it.
He just liked it. He was like, you know what? That thing that's got
like
your
you left
dead
us.
soul
I'm
in
gonna
it.
take your. Oh wait, before
which is
I gotta say one thing. thing. Lando fucked that robot.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no
Lando
doubt.
fucked that
Several
robot.
times. Lando.
He loved that robot.
And that robot, and it was funny that robot didn't care about his feelings. And like, she wanted her freedom for her brothers and sisters. She didn't care about.
She wanted equal rights.
I know, that was my favorite lines. Like, do you want anything?
I was
equal
so
rights.
Excited. I'm sorry, Kevin. Good.
You're good.
Like, oh Jesus. But I was so excited because I was driving around like a couple days before seeing Solo, and I was like, it's something that always bothered me, and it'll come to me like every once in a while. But the idea that they set up that there is racism towards droids in the Star Wars universe, and everyone's just kind of fine with it.
Yeah. I
know.
Like in the beginning of like A New Hope, it's like they can't come in here. It's like, whoa, okay,
Oh, okay.
like
They're
whoa.
legit torturing them.
And they're like, that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So I like that we finally addressed that there's droid racism in the Star
know.
Wars universe.
And also like that the mining scene was like my favorite sequence. It was just like how it was a plan gone wrong but worked, and it was the whole thing is just like it just got worse and worse. It's just like, well, what's happening? I think I found my calling.
And Lando just showed up. Was it the
Oh,
original plan was like, all right, stay low profile,
Yes.
keep under
And
guides, it's gonna be
then
all right,
start a
we'll be in and out.
revolution.
He comes back.
I
I got it.
I
love
want to
that.
watch
I
that
also
scene
just
so
love
many
when he's
times.
like,
It's
"This-"
so good.
Yeah, he's just like, gosh, dang it, L337. Like he's
I love you,
I-
but damn it.
yeah. Oh man, the part. Can
All
we
right.
just- can we take a moment
Uh-huh.
to appreciate Donald Glover's acting?
My
The
boy's
part
finally made it.
when he picks up L337 and her body literally goes into, and then he's
Oh, my
crying,
God.
and then we got to see Donald Glover get carried by a Wookiee, which I never thought I'd be able to
I
say,
know.
and
Yeah.
I'm so
Yes.
happy and
Is
sad.
seeing Donald Glover throw the Millennium Falcon into light speed. I think I never realized I needed that in my life, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like I've been a Donald Glover fan since like 2012,
I thought you were
2013.
about to say I've been in love with
I've been in love with Donald Glover since 2013.
Which-
Same.
Not since
But
2013.
it's-
No,
It's-
I think
it's
for
just
me
so
it's like
cool. It's like,
2011 when Community aired. I was like,
2011.
I was like, I need this man
Yeah.
in my life
Yeah.
forever.
He's like just an insanely talented person. It's so cool to see him like
Okay,
finally get the
sidebar.
recognition.
Have you seen any episodes of season 2 of Atlanta?
Not yet. No.
There's just one episode where
Is it the white man episode?
yes, it's
Oh my
so
God.
good.
I've seen pictures.
He does such a good like it's like haunting, and he's just like
Yeah.
apparently he was all in character, and it's the same director who directed This Is America music video.
Oh really? He
Yeah,
works with
and
that
Donald
dude a lot.
Glover
I
wrote
think
it,
he
and
worked
it's
on it
like
with a lot of stuff
weird
because of
as
that.
fuck. And he's just like even on set, he like for this one episode, he was just in character as this guy, and everyone was calling him by that name.
Yeah, it was actually he looked like a Who.
Yes,
A
As
Who
if
from
Michael Jackson
like,
was a Who.
Grinch. Yeah, no, I'm just super. He did an amazing job in this movie.
It's such a good-
I want to actually backtrack real quick and talk about the train sequence.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love train sequences, and I think that's something that I've like. The writing in it is so cool. It's like there's so many like discs and plates being like spun in the air all at the same time, and it's like just from a writing perspective, it's just so sound and sets up so many characters where it's just
Yeah.
like
And it's so practical. Also, train heists are freaking hard.
yeah, they're really
People
hard.
die.
Yeah, and it's like from like just an editing perspective, you see like all these different like stories that are happening at the same time with the
Yeah.
Marauders, and then small Jon Favreau, and then Han, and then Chewbacca, then Woody Harrelson's character. Like
For
all of them are
everybody
coming
that
to the
doesn't
same
know,
thing.
Jon Favreau voiced Rio Durant.
Oh.
Yeah,
the little
four-armed
alien
man.
that makes sense. I love
Sorry,
that
I
four-armed
just
man.
wanted to put some
Mm.
because he threw his name in there. I wanted people to know. I'm sure everybody knows, but
Little John Favreau.
Good,
I didn't.
yeah.
I was very surprised. Like John, would you get out of here? Also, let's talk about this cameo. The 2 cameos. Wait. I'm losing my mind. Never mind. No cameo. I'm lost my mind. I was thinking of Deadpool 2 and Matt Damon again because I feel like I've been. I
you mean
want
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, no, Matt Damon.
What?
He was a little fat man.
Oh yeah, he was.
I think we were
redneck.
talking about that because like I knew like oh it's Alan Tudyk, but who's the fat guy? And I was like
I know,
That's
I
Matt
know.
Damon.
Oh,
just
That's
Matt
Damon.
I love that.
But there
are you
is
talking about Maul?
technically a cameo.
No.
Technically in,
Darth Maul.
No, I was
Um,
literally just thinking of Matt Damon from Deadpool 2.
but there is technically a cameo in Solo.
Yeah, Darth Maul.
Yeah, who was played by Ray Park again
Yep.
from Phantom
Yeah.
Menace.
We
which
literally-
is super cool.
Like me and
for
Mandy
him.
like looked it up. It was like it's like is it him? It's him. We got really
Yeah.
excited. It's like I really hope his acting got better because I know he's not known for his acting.
Also, I really appreciate it because he is not listed on IMDb.
Oh yeah, his
is
like
nice.
well, cause like I think someone voiced, cause he's not the voice of Darth Maul. I
Yeah.
don't think.
But Maul isn't listed at all on. So there's
oh,
not a
there's no
spoiler.
spoilers.
Yeah,
Right, that is.
unless
So I
unless
think
they're
that's
listening
cool
to
for
this.
people right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of all the really dope
and
things. So
I forgot his name, but like he's like the poor man's Jude Law.
Oh, Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany.
Poor man, to be fair, he has been in the 2 biggest films of this entire year.
he's killing it.
He is killing
He's
it.
also
And
Vision.
Jude Law's doing Young Pope. Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
so
I
he's
feel like
kind
Young
of
Pope,
he's
shout
Jude
out.
Law
He's gonna
is the
come
young
back.
poor man's version of the other guy. I keep
Paul
forgetting his. I
Bettany.
keep on forgetting his.
or as I like
Paul
to call
Bunyan.
him, Buttney.
I like that he addressed that there's a coke nail in the Star Wars universe. That
Oh,
made me
a
very
coke
uncomfortable. Yeah, I didn't like that one bit.
I like that.
The what?
It's like so.
he has like a little
nails-
coke thumb. Like he has a little nail that's longer than the others.
Yeah,
It's in there.
it's in there.
Star
Watch
cocaine.
Stark
yeah.
up.
I thought he was,
I liked him.
you know, scarier than Darth Vader, and I appreciated that there was like this terrifying.
And if you notice, like
creepy,
his lines
Yeah.
keep on like
Yes.
going because like once you saw him and you saw him again, there was like a new line forming that it was patched up. So
Yeah,
like the
and
Scott.
whenever he gets mad, they flare up.
Oh, that's really cool. I like
And
that.
if
a
you look
lot.
in the
I didn't even see
background,
that.
you can see like a red Mandalorian armor.
Oh
Ooh.
shit.
I
So
didn't realize that.
I picked that out. I was like, Mandalorian.
Mandal-
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are in the background that don't need to be there, but this movie won over my heart with its killer script already.
Yeah.
But they made
Ooh.
one reference that really just blew my mind and had me sitting in the theaters like, did they just make that reference? They made a Back to the Future Part 3 reference
Yes, they
in
did.
Solo. And I think so we got Back to the Future, Star Wars, Donald Glover, and Han Solo in a movie. This was made for me.
It was all
What was the
for
Back
you,
to the
baby.
Future 3 reference?
Okay, so I think it's towards the beginning
Ooh,
or the
break it
middle. But it's when Han Solo's about to do that like little cool like car trick to get to the alley that doesn't end up working.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no. It's when they're escaping the squid monster in that space thing. And they're like, it's not gonna work. And he's like, don't worry, I've learned this trick from my friend Needles back on my home planet. He crashed
And died.
and died or something like that. And I was just like, did they really just, because of the end of Back to the Future 3, that's how it like ends. It's like Marty comes back to the present.
Well,
and then
Needles
he
doesn't
gets-
crash.
Well, yeah, he like wipes out or whatever. But
No,
like, he
it's like
comes
the
back
car comes in and like veers around because it's supposed
Yeah,
to be
like,
Marty's
almost.
car. But I get
if Marty had
yeah.
drove off, he would have gotten
Yeah.
in the crash.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool because it was like he shows up and then the Needles, who was like a side character that they never really explain in Back to the Future, he just kind of shows up.
Yeah.
It's just like the whole thing. It's just the end of Back to the Future Part 3, and it's really cool. And I'm just like, yes, that is so awesome
that's
because
super cool.
no one respects Back to the Future Part 3, and it's really fucking
love Back to the
good.
Future
It'd be really
know,
funny
me
if like the
too.
writers would be like, "Oh yeah, that is a reference." It'd be like they didn't really mean it. It was just like,
That
"Oh,
was
you know what?
fun.
I have been watching a lot of Back to the Future when I wrote this. That makes a lot more
Sunk into
sense."
their subconscious.
Because it's like trying to come up with like
Oh.
alien name. It's just like Glowborg. No, Needles.
Needles. Oh, what was an alien name? Oh, Needles.
Needles.
There we
Needles.
go.
What does he look like?
Dude.
Like a flea. He looks like a flea. And he plays an instrument. Yeah, he's in a band.
That makes about
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That sounds good.
I really liked the writing in this. I think it was really there were some feelings I had about especially the first half of The Last Jedi with how they wrote Luke was not my favorite. And the second half I'm like, all right, y'all good, y'all got it. But it's just really nice to like watch something with a character that you care about and you feel like the writers get that character. And I
Yeah.
felt that way in Han Solo because there's a couple different scenes that I really feel like they nailed with the first off the writing and also really understanding why people love his character. And I think that all three of us are going to want to talk about both of these scenes. But the first scene is the elevator scene with
yeah.
Emilia Clarke's character
Probably one of the best ones in the movie.
Such a good scene,
From
and
an
so we
acting
can
point.
break that down with like the script and the acting. And then the next part that I really loved, from a dialogue perspective and from an acting perspective, is when Woody Harrelson dies. I really appreciated that, like, he's about to go on this big round. He's like, I gotta tell you something really important. And then he's like, psh, and then he's like, oh, no, that was good.
Yeah.
No, because I was gonna kill you. So
Yeah.
that's good that you did
I was
that.
definitely gonna murder you
kill
dead.
But
I was like-
I think,
It's like, because like I know he's supposed to, like, another like thing of like the reviewer that I like complained that like he didn't thought Woody Harrelson's character was a good mentor. I was like, but no, this is Han Solo's mentor. It's not. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, he
very
gives him one of the
unconventional.
tough
His
lessons.
mentor
Yeah.
is like basically scum. He's like everything that he's saying is like hey, giving all these like life lessons, like, because I'm gonna do this to you.
Yeah.
One
You have
day-
to
one day it's
outscum
like-
me.
yeah.
Like I'm talking about myself in the third person. Like I'm
yeah.
It's like the whole thing is like, is your dog gonna bite? It's like, no. Are you gonna bite me? Yeah, I'm gonna bite you.
Yeah. And I appreciated there's a moment where Han Solo shoots him and immediately runs to
Yeah.
him and catches him. And that was a moment that I was like, yes, these people understand this character. They understand
Yeah.
why we have loved this character for decades. And you're like, that's why he's better
Yeah.
than all the rest. Because even at the end of the day, like Emilia Clarke's character says this, like, he's like, I'm the bad guy. And
Yeah.
she's like, no, you're not.
She's like the
And
one of the
that's
few
so-
people to know that.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
and I really, really loved that they captured that, and they were able to draw on that in a really, I think, and a really, what's the word I'm looking for? In a really subtle way. They never tried to be super obvious about it. They were like, yeah, we'll use writing and we'll
It's
use character.
Through character choices that he's like being defined, not people saying what he
Yeah.
is. Oh, she's a rebel. She rebels. It's like, okay.
And
Yeah,
Luke is like,
that was
I'm a
one of my
farm
favorites.
boy. I farm.
Yeah.
know,
And I
yeah.
drink blue milk.
I drink blue milk out of some
Yeah.
titties.
But that was one of my favorite scenes. I just think, I also really loved that as soon as Woody Harrelson got shot, instead of, his dying breath being like, let me tell you this big thing I was going to tell you, his last breath is saying, I don't know what instrument it is. It's some like Star Wars
It's like,
instrument.
I was really going to play it. I was really going to learn it.
Yeah, and that was so
oh, yeah.
heartbreaking. That was so heartbreaking because earlier in the film, as many of you probably remember, Val is joking and she's like, he's never going to learn it. And then he's like, I really was. And now, like, he's going through how he's never going to get to do that.
Yeah.
And how heartbreaking that is. And how Han is, he's, even after everything, after the betrayal, he's still comforting him in his last moments. And I thought that was such a beautiful scene in the film. And from a writing perspective, it was so well done.
Yeah. And it feels like what's cool about this is that it, like, firstly, like, it builds upon characters that we've already known and like
Yeah.
already love. Like
Yeah.
it you get to like you see this movie and then you go and watch the Han in the originals and Han makes way more sense as a character. Like he doesn't feel like a
Yeah.
2D like I'm an asshole, bang bang bang.
It's like he has
oh,
trust
so
issues. Like,
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
trust issues and he's scared and he doesn't want people to leave him and he like pushes people away so they don't go away.
And
Yeah.
the only person he has is Chewie, who's
Yeah.
his wingman.
Oh my god, how they introduced Chewie, I was just like
That was
how-
amazing.
the only thing that Rogue One ever did right, in my opinion, was the ending scene with Vader, where it's just like, oh shit, I
yeah.
get why he's scary. And they
Yeah.
did the same thing with Chewie in this one in the
Oh
intro,
my
where it's just
God.
like, oh fuck, I get why I'm scared of Chewie now because
Yeah.
he was legitimately a monster.
And
So-
you also get why Chewie would have stuck with Han Solo instead of going back to his people where he's
Yeah.
like, no, you are my dude.
Because he wasn't automatically on his side. He was just like, yo, trust me. And then, like, it worked out good for Chewie, like, and everybody involved. And then it was just like, cool, all right, yeah. I trust you
bros.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, Wookiee life debt.
Like I found out like that they originally going to have like Han to be like a 10-year-old orphan in
Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk in episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and that like, and I was like, I like this way better because it's just
Yeah.
like,
so much more.
Me too.
because it's
'Cause
just
it
like
makes-
it
it's
found him in the
cool.
mud. It's just like, and it's just kind of like more like this like kind of like this bondage through like they didn't have anybody, so
Yeah.
they trusted each other the most.
I
But
loved that.
but even with that, that could still be canon because like he's like, oh, I speak a little bit of Wookiee, so maybe he was
Yeah.
like on the planet and then like left like super early on, but
Yeah.
like so that's how he knows a little bit of Wookiee still.
yeah, I appreciate that they didn't dive into that. That's a mystery.
That could be in a book.
Yeah.
I liked the part whenever him and Donald Glover were like, "Yo, I also don't have a good relationship with my dad." Yo, and we like each other for this second.
Yeah.
Moment in time.
Essentially, Han and Lando's relationship.
Yeah.
We like each other for a second and then hate each other.
Another part I really loved the writing is when Lando just looks at Han and he's just like, "I hate you.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to see you again." I liked that because I was like, "What's he gonna say?"
And I was like, it's like, it'd be really funny. It's like if the next time they saw each other, somehow he's the mayor of Cloud City. He goes, Han, and like Han's like, I don't know. I don't know about you.
Such a Donald Glover moment. I loved it so much. Where I was like, "This is Donald. Hello."
It's so good.
Yeah, it was so
Or it's like,
oh.
no,
Also,
not the cape.
costumes were
That was a
great.
custom piece.
Yeah.
Not my capes.
Yeah. Yeah. The capes, the costumes, beautiful. I loved
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
They were great.
Also, not original Chewbacca in this movie. New
Yeah.
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Jonas.
It was the same guy that
Timo.
was in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was in
Peter
the last
Mayhew's-
season. I just looked into it.
I
He was
dig
in
No,
that.
it's.
the last
I think it's
season,
also
sorry.
since
Okay.
it's since Force Awakens. Like Force Awakens.
Yes, he was in
Peter-
Force
Okay, so he's a new
Awakens.
trilogy.
Peter
Chewie.
Peter Mayhew is like the original Chewbacca. He could
Yes.
he only did his sitting parts because like he has some like problems with his legs. So
He's
he can't.
old.
Makes sense.
He's so old and so
Yeah.
tall. Let him sit down.
Yeah, this new guy's
Don't
name
make him
is
jump around
Jonas,
anymore.
but I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly because it's Joo
Yeah.
and As. So is it?
I dig them, and I dig them for this reason alone. They fixed their problem with Rogue One, or not Rogue One, with any movie before this one with Chewie in it in the modern movie
Last
universe.
Jedi-
He doesn't have fingers.
He does.
Chewie
Has
doesn't
he
need
opens-
fingers.
he has
He's creepy.
fingers.
It's creepy.
He has
Kevin, will you weigh in
fingers.
on the Chewbacca having fingers debate? Because I don't like that.
I didn't know that was a thing.
In Force Awakens, they show Chewbacca having fingers,
fingers.
like little ape
He has
fingers underneath his
phalanges.
fur when he sets the little bomb off, and it makes me
How
so
is he able to do all
uncomfortable.
the things that he does if he doesn't
Pause.
have
Pause.
fingers?
Pause.
Pause don't work like that.
Lightsabers don't work. Why are we getting semantical down on the freaking Chewbacca? It doesn't. It's
Why won't you
gross.
just let him have fingers?
Because they're gross looking. Because they're gross.
Do you like raccoons?
Yeah, I love raccoons.
have fingers.
Yeah,
They're
and I
little
love their
baby
little
hands.
fingers. They knock on little doors like this.
That's.
Ooh, let me in. I'm a little raccoon guy. Let me in.
But you don't want Chewbacca to do that?
No, I don't want him. Because if he does, it's like it's too loud. It's too loud, and I don't like him doing this to me. Little fingers in my mouth.
I want to talk about the elevator scene.
Let's talk about that elevator scene.
Let's talk about it.
Floor is
It's
yours.
good.
Really good.
Were you going to open up a conversation? It's just like, and
it's
somebody
really
want
good.
to talk about?
I think it's cool because it's like the driving meaning of the film, where you're like, it's bringing the pinnacle of what Han Solo is supposed to learn to the forefront,
Yeah.
and he's still not getting it, and she's like not gonna explain it to him, which I really appreciate. It's not a
Yeah.
stupid part of the movie where she's like, "Let me explain."
Yeah.
She's like, "You still don't get it,"
And she's like
he's-
trying to save him for the last time.
Okay, I was going into this movie. I was very worried how they were gonna handle Emilia Clarke
Because she hasn't been handled well in any movie since
I know.
Game of Thrones
Poor-
ever.
Poor lady, she's only gotten to play Khaleesi, and then the rest of it.
But
I'm
not
sure-
great.
This is just my opinion, and it's subjective. I know there's a lot
And a lot of
people
other
that,
people's
like,
opinions.
that You and Me or whatever that movie is called. I'm sure she's good in it. I haven't seen her in a lot of other stuff, but feels like she doesn't get to like play a lot of 3D characters in films. So I was really worried. I was like, what are they gonna do with her? She was so interesting, and at the end of it, she's so complicated because she is, I don't know, when Paul Bettany's character Dryden,
Sure. Star Wars name.
Dryden, whenever he is like she's like, I've done things that you wouldn't ever understand, and
Yeah.
then Dryden's like, yeah, she's done things you wouldn't ever understand. Like, she's a very, very dark past, and very it's really alluding to this much darker part and much more adult part of the Star Wars universe that we don't get to dive into. And that's what I appreciate about this film, is that it felt like it was dealing with an adult audience, but not in a bad way, but like
It was
Yeah.
a well-written movie.
yeah, and I really appreciated that. So that whole dynamic, and then the part whenever she's like, go leave, like,
Mm.
I'll
I'm
be
right behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it closes, and the elevator door is reflective, and all she can see is herself.
But even before that, like the look on her face like tells like so much of that story of like how she wants to like go off with him, but knows that's not reality. And where it's like, yo, I'm like growing up, like I want to hang out with you, but I'm kind of like a space criminal now in like the bad way. So I'm trying to save your ass.
Yeah, like she's saving herself and she's a loner, but she also loves him and is saving him.
Yeah,
and risking herself to do that. And her character was so complicated and so interesting, and I really loved how they handled her and that whole dynamic. Really good job. The dialogue with her was great, and I really appreciated it. How did you guys feel about it?
I liked her a lot. I thought that like everyone's relationships with each other I thought was really well done. Or it's like something that I was thinking about throughout the movie was just like, if you like, this movie is like super amazing at visual storytelling with like its props and its sets, action pieces, and especially like its actors and characters. So it's like, if you take even like a still frame picture of like Han Solo and Qi'ra from the beginning of this movie, and then put that next to like a still image of both of them at the end of this movie, through that alone you can tell their character growth and how those are two completely different like characters at this point. Like they've changed, like you can physically just see it through like a still image, and I absolutely love that. Like they never like take a time where like, I'm gonna explain this out to you, did you know this is what this means and that's what that means. It's like everyone's character was just like, I'm doing my thing, and you get to see the choice, who I am based on the choices that I make as a character. And yeah, Emilia Clarke was amazing in this, which we're finally glad to see like that on screen, because we all knew that she was capable of it because of Game of Thrones.
Also, they wrote her so stupid in the last season. For those of you
that's a whole. We can't. That's a whole road.
Okay. It was all worth it just to see Kit Harington's perfect ass.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. I just had to say it, but I'm done now. It's Back to Star Wars.
She did amazing. The guy that played Han Solo was awesome, and like he really got down the character of like, Han Solo is a person, and he's like a scared, like kind of like little boy trying to be a grown up badass. Like Han Solo is a dorky dweeb that has to like through circumstance be a smuggler badass, and like he's not a mean person. He's like a good dude pretending to be something he's not. And then the relationship with Chewbacca, and then like getting Lando down perfectly, which is a character that always kind of like eluded me from understanding who he was and like where he lied. Yeah, or it's just like, oh, I get it. He's just like a dude that just wanted to relax. And now I want a
Lando movie now where it starts off with Lando being the mayor, being the mayor of Cloud City. Goes, so you're wondering how I got here?
I bet you were wondering. I was having a good day, and then Han showed up. Lando's whole story.
Speaking of Han Solo, I don't know how to pronounce the actor's name, but Alden Ehrenreich or whatever. I wanted to take a quick shout out because he was in Hail Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
And that movie is great, and not a lot of people, I feel like, have seen it or talked about it. And he's a real fun cowboy, bad actor, man. In it. It's a real fun movie. And for those of you that didn't know, which I'm sure that is none of you, I'm sure you all know, he's in that. And it's a great time. Go watch it.
Also, I want to talk about the internet for putting him on blast, and everyone in this movie on blast, where it's just like, oh my god, they got acting coaches for the people. Guys, most actors have acting coaches. That's how acting works. You kind of have to learn it a little bit. Like, and also that was so unnecessary. Like, who leaked that information? That's so disrespectful.
I think kind of what I was going back, what I was saying a little bit at the beginning is I think we're really trained that when we see someone play someone like that's famous or a younger version of someone, we are so prone to expect them to be exactly like that person because we have the effects to do that. But I think recently with this, and they do this in Westworld as well, without saying any spoilers or anything, but in Westworld they also have younger people, like different actors playing younger versions of other people. And it's really, really cool because I am sick and tired of seeing CGI'd people because we're not there yet.
It's not there yet.
That's not the point. That's not the point. I'd rather see a really good actor who doesn't really look like Harrison Ford get into the spirit and essence of Han Solo than to see someone who looks exactly like him who missed the beat.
Yeah.
You
A
know,
good
I-
example of like someone that looks like the person but not a good actor is like the Tupac movie. It's like, yeah, that guy looks like Tupac.
That's it.
Shitty actor.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah,
everything's overacted.
It's
Yeah.
it's a thing of like, like Harrison Ford. Like as much as the internet will probably dispute this, Harrison Ford isn't Han Solo. Han Solo is Han Solo.
Yeah.
And different actors can play the same character.
Yeah.
If they're acting the same, then that's that character. If you're gonna be like all like fucking butthurt about like, oh god, he doesn't look like Harrison Ford, it's like, okay, you don't deserve to see movies. You're done. You don't
Well,
get to see. Like
yeah,
that's
and
a
I felt
stupid
that
reason
way.
not to like something.
I felt that way just because like I didn't even think he was acting like him, but then when I saw the whole film, I was like, okay, he is capturing him, and everything I said, I will, eat my words because I was wrong.
yeah.
And but I get it because we're trained to expect that.
I suppose.
And I think it's more interesting this route to be like, you know what? No, we're gonna have good actors play these versions of people, and we don't need to load them up with CG. We don't need to throw a bunch of makeup on them, and I think that that's really cool. And I think that they were doing that with Westworld in really interesting ways, and I really respect that. Like they only CGI, to my knowledge, one character in Westworld, and it's a young. It's a young.
Is this a spoiler?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I'm trying to be
Okay.
conscious, but
I mean, Mary dropped a real big spoiler on me when we were watching
mean,
West. Just a side note.
She goes, oh yeah, and it was all a dream, and like, oh no.
And then Jar Jar Binks shows up.
Every time.
They CGI a young Anthony Hopkins for
Yeah.
a brief second, but they don't ever even focus on it because that's gonna date that show. Because
Mhm.
eventually we're gonna get better
Yeah.
at CGIing people. So I appreciate whenever they're like, you know what, we're not there yet. And also there are really a lot of hardworking actors that deserve that spot, and I think it's cool that they didn't go. I think that it's sad because I feel like because of that reason, a lot of people didn't want to see it, myself included. And I'm worried that that's going to hurt other prequels and remakes and all that different stuff because they're going to be like, oh, we got to get this actor that looks more like them than is good at acting. And I don't want that to happen.
That is my biggest fear with this one too,
Yeah.
where it's like I want people to see that so it can do
Yeah,
well, and they
so-
keep doing stuff like this.
Yeah, my whole rant was I feel like I learned a valuable lesson, and I really want people to go see this movie. And the trailers still look bad.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
this movie. I feel like the one more thing I want to say about it is that like I feel it's the only movie that I can think of in recent history that like benefited from being a Frankenstein monster.
Yeah.
Of like itself, where it's just like you have the Ron Howard stuff and then the Lord and Miller stuff, where it's like both of those things come together so well, like weirdly enough,
Yeah.
that it's like Ron Howard brings like the heart and like the warmth of the movie, like the soul of it,
Yeah.
while like Lord and Miller bring the the
quips.
essence and like who this character is like
Yeah.
on surface, and Ron Howard brings like who he is like on the core
Yeah.
level, and I super enjoyed that, and I feel like that's the only time that's happened recently because
For
usually they're an
instance,
absolute mess when
Yeah.
that
The
happens.
Last Jedi.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't want to talk about The Last Jedi at all. It makes me sad. I
honestly
am done tolerating that movie now that Solo's out.
I liked the second half a lot, and I stand by that. I have a lot of problems with that movie, but it's still enjoyable. But Han Solo is real good. Everybody should go see it because then we get more Star Wars movies,
Yeah.
guys.
Don't you want to see a Lando movie? I know I
I
do.
want to see a Lando movie so bad.
Oh, yeah. Make it Disney, you cowards.
All right, so ratings.
10. Obviously 10. 10, 100%. How many? No, you know what my rating is? I'm going to give it a 14. Wait, no, a 12 out of 12 parsec if you round down. But I'm rounding all the way up. So we're going to do a 13 out of 12. I loved it.
I'm gonna give it a 9.5
Out
Because
of
out of 10.
loser.
Oh, okay. I feel like we're the movie reviewers that like give really good scores to this.
I like
I
the
don't feel like
scores.
I don't think I've given anything below an 8.
Well,
except
usually
for
like the
maybe
movies
Fear
like
of
we
Never Seen.
want to like make the effort to record are the movies we like.
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't got
Also,
no.
there's just been a lot of really good movies, and no
Huh.
need to hate because I love movies, and
Me
this
too.
movie gets a 9.5, and if I watch it again, it might get a 10. I want to see it again. It's real great.
Yeah, mine's will definitely increase because like it feels like of any of like the newer Star Wars movies that this has like the most playability. Because like
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's
Like Force
fun
Awakens is a
and-
good movie,
I
but
got out.
watching it multiple times, it's like it drags, and then Rogue One, like the first act just kills. It just, no matter how much I liked it, that first act just is just boring as fuck. And like I love the second act so much. The second half of the movie, the last Jedi, like
Same.
First half's real wonky. Second half is pretty okay.
Yeah.
But this one is like, it just like how like the movies that I like rewatching. It's like I could probably just like, if there's a random like Ocean's movie on, I'm probably gonna watch it because like it has like that good quickness into it.
It feels like an Indiana Jones movie too, where it's just like that kind of like, this is a great movie to put on in the background.
The writer for like the Indiana Jones movies wrote the screenplay. That's like
yes.
Oh,
this is okay.
Yeah. They also wrote a bit of the original series or the original trilogy, right?
Oh, I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure.
That's so cool.
Well, like I guess like helped writing it, like helped like,
right?
Yeah, but because like while watching it was like, oh, this is like, because it felt like Indiana Jones was very like, because like one thing I love about Solo is like there's no like world saving like moment like like every other movie is like we gotta do this to save humanity or like save the galaxy, while like this movie is just like this is for us, and that's like so it has like less stakes but like more like internal, and that's why I liked it so much.
It works more so because it's like you can't have those giant stakes because he's gonna be in the other movie, so he's obviously not gonna die. But these other characters, we've never seen them before, so they might die.
And they did.
Yeah, like they established like, no, people can die. Like literally 2 deaths within like the first 30 minutes. It's like, people can die, and it gives that like gravitas that you were talking about, like that kind of like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen because I don't know where these characters are gonna end up.
Yeah, it was real good.
Yeah. I loved it.
I
I'm
feel
gonna
like
see
I was
it
gonna
8
say
times.
something.
Yeah, my rating's at 9.6.
I was like, I wanted to.
Hell yeah.
I wanted. As soon as I got out, I was like, I'm gonna see this movie again. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kevin. I missed what you said. What was your rating?
Oh, 9.6.
Nice. Way to what?
Out of what? Out of what? Out of what? Out of what?
9.9.
Yeah! yeah!
It's just like
I love it so arbitrary. It's almost 10. It's almost just normal.
It's just
9.999999999.
I don't think we should start saying 9 and 9 and 9.
Why?
Again. No reason.
Oh, okay.
It's just a weird time to be alive.
What were you gonna say, Mary?
So I bought some new tiki torches. That and some white.
What's your favorite? 9.
9.
Nine?
The one upside down, where it's a 6.
Yes.
So metal. So metal.
But yeah, Solo.
9.6. Really
So,
good.
so
Please
fucking
go
good.
See it.
Yeah.
Tell your friends to see it. Spend money
Tell your
on
mom
it
to go
because
see it. It's gonna be a good ride.
Yeah.
Your mom's gonna love it.
Yeah.
You tell your mom,
Moms-
get to the
yeah.
theater.
It's like,
Moms
hey,
will love it.
watch it for Donald because he fine,
Because
and
that's what I went in for,
Yeah.
and I left
what
with
I went
so
in
much
for.
more. Same. I was like, look at him in his fancy shirts.
I was proud to see my boy.
the
doing
last
well.
shirt he
Oh.
wore with like I don't know like with the starships
my
on it.
favorite.
I love
Yes.
that. I saw that in like the closet where like Han Solo and Amelia were
where
like
they were
kissing,
gonna fuck.
and that shirt like just like popped out, and I was like, I want to see that him wearing that shirt. He probably
Yes.
won't, and he
Also,
did.
continuity.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That's really cool.
Oh, I just
I like
I
how
saw it and I was
tight
like,
he was
oh,
to
I
his
want
case.
that, and he wore it. I was like, oh, he wore it.
he wore
I
it though.
loved
I want that toy of
loved
him wearing that.
L337 so much. I loved L337.
Lee?
She was great. The whole scene with her and Amelia Clark when she's like, yeah, it could never be. Sometimes I think maybe, but no.
but no.
And she was like,
everyone
how
was
would that? I was
like,
like, oh, it works. As soon as she goes, as soon as she said,
no,
oh, it
what's
works, I was
that?
like, oh, Lando, fuck that robot.
Oh, she
The way
knows
that Lando
it
looks at
works.
her whenever she's like giving him shit. He's just like, I love you so much, but you fucking get on
It's
my
like
nerves.
it's literally like an old couple,
Which
and
is
I
so
love
funny
it.
to see Lando in that position. He's like this like smooth playboy guy, and then he's just being like talked down and stripped down by this fucking robot.
And I love it because like that's like he chose like yeah, this is gonna be my partner in crime.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
my number one, my day one, and I'm
And he's
gonna be
impressed
with
by
them
her.
forever.
Yeah, but not.
Final
So, yeah.
thoughts?
So good. Go see it.
Go see
I
it.
can't say it enough. I've said it a lot. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say it again. Go see it.
Go see it. Take your moms, take your dads, take your
Go
uncles, take
see
your
it.
aunts.
Go see it. Go
And with
see
that, I want to say goodbye.
Please
Mhm.
cut that out.
That's how it's ending. I don't know how to end podcasts, and that's I feel is right.
I think you need to keep this last part in so people know.
I'm not ashamed of myself.